Hi! Today we have a Skoda Octavia Mark III with a 1.2 TSI engine. The problem is it started to leak fuel from the fuel injectors where they are connected with the rail. So I have to disassemble the intake manifold to remove the injectors. First I'm going to start by removing the air filter housing. I just have to pull up from the pins and remove this metal bracket and this metal bracket to remove the hoses, and also the oil evaporator hose. So now you can see the intake manifold. First I'm going to disconnect the map sensor. Also I'm going to disconnect this map sensor. I'm going to remove this pipe from the turbo to the throttle body, because the throttle body is on the intake manifold. I'm going to disconnect the wiring of the throttle body. Next I'm going to open these 4 bolts with Torx 30 and remove the throttle body, because there are some hoses below that needs to be disconnected from the intake manifold. After removing the throttle body, I have disconnected the vacuum hose for the brake booster. Now there is a pin that should be turned like this, and after that it can be pulled out from the intake manifold. And also there is another hose from the oil evaporator that needs to be pressed on both sides, and after that it can be pulled out from the intake manifold. Next I'm going to disconnect the fuel supply hose, and also I'm going to disconnect this metal pipe from the high pressure fuel pump to the common rail. This can be opened with 17mm wrench. Next I'm going to disconnect the hoses for the coolant. This big one, and this smaller one. I'm going to put some plugs so I can prevent coolant to leak. And also I'm going to disconnect the evap valve. It's on this side. I have disconnected the hoses. Also I have disconnected the high pressure fuel sensor. So next I'm going to open this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts with Torx 30 that hold the inlet manifold to the cylinder head. I have opened all the bolts. The intake manifold is moving, but I had to disconnect this coolant hose here, and also this coolant hose here. And there is one bolt that holds this metal plastic pipe with Torx 30. Everything is loose. I can pull up the intake manifold to some point, but there on this plastic pipe there is another hose that goes down, so I'm gonna have to raise the vehicle and remove the lower plastic cover and disconnect that hose so I can remove the intake manifold. I have raised the vehicle, so now I have to remove 8 bolts with Torx 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to remove the lower plastic cover. So now we can see where is that hose where is connected. but unfortunately from here I will not be able to disconnect, so I'm gonna have to remove it whole. I'm going to drain the whole coolant from here, and I'm going to pull out the intake manifold completely with this hose, and also I'm going to disconnect it on the coolant pump, on the electrical coolant pump. I have managed to disconnect the hose from the plastic pipe, so now I'm going to lower the vehicle and remove the inlet manifold. But first, I forgot to mention it, I have noticed on this side there is one small hose that is connected with the intake. This hose, the smaller one, should be disconnected also. I have lowered the vehicle and I have removed the intake manifold. And also I think I found the problem why it was leaking fuel. As I can notice, this bolt here is snapped by itself, and you can notice that on this side here we can put a whole finger, here we can't. So this is moved like this, the rail, and that's why it was leaking fuel on this side. Next I'm going to open this bolt also. I'm going to remove the rail, disconnect the fuel injectors, and I'm going to try to remove the bolt that is snapped. I have removed the remaining 3 bolts with Torx 30, and I have removed the rail, and now you can notice that the rubber seal on the first fuel injector is damaged and needs to be replaced. Also, I can easily remove the bolt. I have tried, I can open it with my hand. But the problem is the pressure has because it was holding only the lower bolt, so it's now a little offside. I'm gonna have to straighten a little, and after that I can install the rail and fuel injectors. So I have installed new rubber seals, new O-rings. They are 6 by 3.5. So now I'm going to install the fuel injectors on the common rail. I'm going to lubricate the O-rings with a little oil, and after that I can install them, and I'm going to install the common rail into the cylinder head. I have installed the fuel injectors, install the common rail, tighten it 4 bolts with Torx 30. So now I'm going to connect the wiring for the injectors, and after that I can install the inlet manifold. I have installed the intake manifold, 5 bolts with Torx 30. I have tightened them. So next I'm going to raise the vehicle. I'm going to connect the hoses from the lower side of the engine, of the intake, and after that I'm going to finish the work from the top side of the engine. I have connected the hose with the plastic pipe, installed the plastic holders for the wires. Also I have connected with the coolant radiator, and I have connected this small hose on the inlet manifold. Now I can install the plastic cover here under the engine, and I can lower the vehicle and finish the work from the top side of the engine. I have lowered the vehicle, so next I'm going to connect the fuel supply, connect the coolant hoses. First this one, then the other one. Then I'm going to connect these two from the cooling for the intake, and after that I'm going to connect the smaller ones from the coolant. So I have connected this coolant hose, installed a metal pipe, tightened it with 17mm wrench, connected the fuel supply hose, connected the wiring here. Also I have connected here the hoses for the cooling for the intake, installed the hose on the evap valve, connected the wiring, connected the fuel pressure sensor, connected the oil pressure switch. And next I'm going to install this hose for the coolant, and I'm going to install the throttle body, and also I'm going to install the vacuum line for the brake booster, like that. Everything is connected here, so I'm going to install the plastic pipe from the turbo. Have to be careful with these plastic pins, they can very easily break. Also I have connected this plastic hose here, it was disconnected previously. I'm going to connect the map sensor, and now I can install the air filter housing, and after that I can refill with coolant and start the engine. Everything is installed, so now I can start the engine. The check engine and EPC was on because there was low pressure. Now you can see the EPC is off, so this means that everything works fine. I'm going to shut off and restart again. It was leaking from this side, so now everything is looking good. I'm going to connect with diagnostic tester, delete all the fault codes. I'm going to let the engine to warm up to work at idle with the cap open, so the air in the system can be removed. And after that I'm going to refill with more coolant and close the cap. I'm doing a test drive. The vehicle has been working at idle for a while, and after 5 starts of the engine, the check engine lamp went off by itself, because everything is working fine now. So this means that I am finished. If you like to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and thank you for watching.